Okay, good morning. We're going to try to do some basic math here. It's not really a business application, but it's just we're going to work with kind of a situation where we have a number out of a number. We want to try to get a percentage and then use that percentage to predict and to find another number. Okay, and you'll see what I mean here in a second. Let's just get this rolling. So, this is pretty gross, but if 16 out of 50 people don't wash their hands after using the restroom, okay, then how many out of 2,500 likely don't wash their hands? Okay, just an odd problem, but let's do this. Okay, so I say 16 out of 50. You know, when you see this out of thing, it should immediately tell you I need to do some division. Okay, so 16 out of. Let's put 16 up here at the top. 16 out of 50. You can also express this as 16 divided by 50. Okay? And when we do that, in our calculators, 16 divided by 50, get your calculator out and do this. Okay? It's important to practice. We're going to get 0.32. Okay? 0.32, which basically means 32%. We'll talk about that more. If we want to change this into a percentage, we could multiply this by 100 and we get 32%. Okay, because when we multiply it by 100, this decimal moves over two places. We're going to cover that. What I want you to focus on right now is this part. Okay, we get this decimal, we're going to use this decimal. So, if 16 out of 50 people don't wash their hands after using the restroom, then how many of the 2,500 out of 2,500 likely don't wash their hands? So, right now we know 16 out of 50, but in this problem, we're trying to figure out, gosh, how many out of 2,500 don't? Well, we can use this number here because this is a percentage. This tells us how many out of every 100 don't wash their hands. So what we will do here is we'll take this number and we'll say, okay, that's our percentage. That tells us how many out of every 100 don't wash their hands. So what we'll do is we'll take this 0.32 and then we multiply it by this number. Okay, and this is going to tell us out of every 100, how many don't we wash your hands? This actually means 32 out of 100. Before we had 16 out of 50. Well, if you look at this, it kind of makes sense. 50 gets doubled, 16 gets doubled. It's not complicated though. We're just trying to use this. We went and got this number by dividing these two numbers, and we got 0.32, period. That was in our calculator. Now we're going to use this 0.32, and we're going to multiply it, because this is saying how many. Whenever we see this how many out of something, it's probably asking us to use a percentage and a number to find another number. Let me repeat that. If we're given a ratio or given a percentage, and then we're asked, and we're also given a number along with that percentage, and ask how much or how many, we're multiplying after that point. So we're going to take 0.32 times 2,500, and when we do this in our calculator, we get 800. That's our answer to this question. 800 don't wash hands. So I want you to practice this math with some other problems I'm going to give you. And I want you to think about this for a second. If a percent, so if 0.32, this is also equal to 32%. That word percent just means out of 100. So when we get 0.32, which is the same thing as 32%, and matter of fact, think about this. That's the same thing as 32 cents, 32 pennies out of $1. 32 out of 100. So how many hundreds are in 2,500? Well, there's 25 hundreds in 2,500. It's not complicated here. So, out of every 100, 32 don't. And there's a lot of hundreds here. There's 25 of them. So this number is just basically kind of telling us 32 out of this 100, 32 out of that 100, 32 out of that 100. We did that. Instead of doing that 25 times, we use this thing called a percent. To get it into our calculator, it's a lot easier if we change it to a decimal first, which is what we did up top. Okay, we're going to practice this math, and it's going to become easy for you, I promise. All right.